Shifting our focus to the next important story, as Trump wins the US election, world leaders raced to congratulate Donald Trump on this Trump administration 2.0 might make the progress more rigorous, possibly driving denial rates back up, which would make it harder for the international students and high-skilled immigrants to secure or maintain employment and over the India-US ties. Joining us on the issue is Ambassador Kanwal Sibal, who is a former Foreign Secretary of India. I appreciate you joining us live on the broadcast and thank you for speaking to us. In your assessment, sir, what does the Donald Trump's re-election mean for India?
Well, we will make a judgment after he takes office and starts implementing his agenda. But based on our previous experience, when he was president, there were many positive elements in our ties, but also some difficulties. On the positive side, there was this excellent rapport between the Prime Minister and President Trump. He was very supportive in terms of the Indo-Pacific and the Quad. In fact, for the first time, the Quad meetings were raised to political level during his time. It's because of his policies toward China, which he had toughened enormously during his tenure, looking at China as a threat and an adversary. And we therefore benefited from that in the sense that that gave us a solid ground for security cooperation in the Indian Ocean and the Pacific regions. On counterterrorism, he was very helpful. When we, after Pulwama, when we took action, he said that India had a right to self-defense. So he was supportive in terms of our entire strategy to counter terrorism. He was difficult on trade issues. He imposed tariffs on Indian aluminium and steel exports. He also withdrew the GSP preferences from India. And he has this in mind, and he has repeated that during his campaign.
Sir, in your opinion, do you also think that the United States will end support to Trudeau's witch hunt of the Indian government, considerably given the kind of situation that the India-Canada ties are there over the death of Nijur?
No, I don't think he can end it. What can happen is that what we see at present is that Trudeau is being encouraged by the United States and by the Five Eyes to pursue his agenda against India. And he's getting information also, as he says, from these sources. Now, this active coordination between the United States and Canada on this issue is a problem for us. Now, I think there is scope. I can't say whether this will happen or not. I think there is scope to persuade President Trump and his team that what is happening is doing great disservice to India-US ties. It is reducing trust between the two countries. Because we see people like Panoon being actually assets of the US agencies. And this active coordination by United States with Canada to put pressure on us and talk down at us, asking for satisfaction and accountability. This kind of a discourse is not helpful at all in the overall relationship. So whether Trump will be persuaded to tone down the rhetoric, he can't give up this issue because it's with the Justice Department and the case is there. But if it is treated more discreetly behind the scenes rather than very publicly in order to embarrass and damage India's image, that is something that we could expect could happen from Trump.
Understandably. Also, sir, do you think and should India expect any change in the United States tolerating the Khalistani operatives on its soil, especially given how India-Canada ties have in fact worsened in the past few months, given Canadian government's inaction in fact rather on the extremist activities?
Well, this is a big issue. I just mentioned that there is no way that Panoon can say what he does. Open threats against our leaders, against our parliament, against our airline, which he keeps repeating. He wants to foment, not that is going to happen, but still, he's trying to sow the seeds of communal strife in Punjab itself by telling the Sikhs not to allow Hindus to celebrate Diwali and things like that. And he continues to do that. And there's no one to check him. And there's a lot of contradiction in the American position that, they can't handle, they can't deal with this because under the First Amendment and the freedom of speech stuff, there's nothing they can do. But there are several instances which are public, which are known, where they have acted against people who issue threats. Now, to say that threats are all right, but unless there are actions, they can't take any legal notice of that is not persuasive, because they have taken it. They've taken action against that Indian woman who threatened somebody in some court in some U.S. state, and she's been put behind bars. So it is possible that Trump could be receptive to that. Now, whether they will clamp down fully on this Khalistani movement so that they cannot demonstrate in front of our embassy or do the kind of things that Panoon is doing remains to be seen. But there is scope for a dialogue on this subject with Trump, and to actually persuade him that if United States wants to build up a long-term relationship with India based on mutual trust, because trust is very vital in relationship between countries, then you cannot give space of the kind that they are giving to elements who are openly advocating secessionism and want to balkanize India and threaten our leaders and our ambassadors and what have you. Now let's see what happens.
In fact, all eyes are going to be on the next action when we talk about Khalistanis. But do you also expect the 47th United States President Donald Trump to maintain a hard stand on Pakistan, considering he had earlier ended the military transfer to the country as well?
Well, as you know, the Biden administration has pushed for a massive IMF loan to Pakistan recently. It's a very substantive loan. And they have tried to reach out to Pakistan in many ways. They have, as you know, also given them $350 or $450 million to upgrade their F-16. Now that there are problems between Pakistan and the Afghanistan issue is out of the way for the United States in large measure because their troops are no longer there. To that extent, they don't have to appease Pakistan as much as they needed to do in the past. In the past, Trump was reaching out to Imran Khan because he wanted to withdraw American troops from Afghanistan, and Pakistan was supposed to be helpful in this regard. Now that consideration is no longer operational in U.S.-Pakistan relations. Trump is not particularly fond of, how should I say, I won't say he's anti-Muslim, but many of the things he says does suggest that he's not particularly fond of radical Muslims and all that. He finds them a big a problem for even for the United States. He's very harsh on Hamas. So, in that perspective, seeing the radicalism that is growing in Pakistan, whether he will be tougher with Pakistan, or if not tougher with Pakistan, whether he will have a policy of ignoring Pakistan, remains to be seen. But I don't see him reaching out to Pakistan in any significant way.
All right, Indian Foreign Secretary, in fact, now Kanwal Sibal has spoken to NewsX, and thank you, sir, for giving us your time. Now, viewers, that was all the news of the nation and the world. We'll continue to track all the developments very closely. Till then, stay with us.